Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking on, well, maybe the ultimate question. We're looking at the fundamental physics of the mind.
That's right.
Our sources are arguing that consciousness isn't some kind of software, running on the brain. It's a physical property. It's organized by oscillation, resonance, and this thing called spin.
And to really get it, you have to start at the very, very bottom.
At the quantum level.
Exactly. We have to understand that the basic bits of matter, things like electrons, they aren't just tiny billiard balls. We call one of their main properties quantum spin, but you have to just throw out the image of a spinning top.
It's not actually spinning.
No, it's an intrinsic angular momentum. It's just a fundamental part of what it is, and it behaves in this deeply, deeply strange way.
And this is where, for me, it just gets completely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Because to even describe this property mathematically, physicists needed a whole new kind of object, a spinor.
A spinor, yeah. And you can think of the spinor as, well, as carrying a kind of physical memory of the path it's taken.
What do you mean by memory?
Okay, so think of any normal object. A coffee mug, anything. You rotate it 360 degrees, and it's right back where it started. Simple.
Right.
A spin 12 particle, described by that spinor, only returns to its original state after a full 720-degree rotation.
Wait, two full rotations?
Two full rotations. And this isn't just a mathematical trick. It was actually physically verified back in the 1970s using something called neutron interferometry. They saw that at 360 degrees, the neutrons created destructive interference, meaning they hadn't returned to their original state.
They were out of phase.
Exactly. But at 720 degrees, you get constructive interference. They're back in sync. So the takeaway is that the fundamental stuff of the universe is already encoding information. It's path dependent.
Okay, let's unpack that. If one tiny particle is already an information carrier, how do you combine, trillions of them into the single unified experience of being a person?
That's the combination problem. And this leads us to the main idea in our sources, the general resonance theory, or GRT.
Okay.
GRT starts by adopting a framework called panpsychism.
Which can be a bit of a loaded term, the idea that rocks are conscious.
Well, more like pan-experientialism. The idea that a rudimentary form of experience is a fundamental property of matter, just like mass or charge. If you accept that, you get to skip the impossible hard problem of how consciousness appears from nothing.
And you move on to the combination problem.
Right. How do all those little bits of experience bind into one big one?
And the mechanism GRT proposes isn't computation, it's resonance.
It's resonance.
It's resonance.
Both.
The physical act of two or more things achieving a shared resonance, a shared rhythm, is the binding mechanism.
So when things vibrate together, they become a single conscious entity.
In a way, yes. It's like a phase transition. The information flows so fast and wide between the resonating parts that their individual boundaries just dissolve. They become a unified whole.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, because GRT proposes something you can actually measure. This slowest shared resonance principle.
So SSR, yeah. So you're telling me my deepest sense of self, the boundary of what I call me, is linked to my slowest bodily rhythm. That sounds bizarre.
It does, but the evidence is fascinating. It suggests a whole hierarchy inside your body. The very slowest foundation is the gastric brain resonance.
My gut-brain connection.
Your gut-brain axis, yeah. It resonates at about 0.05 hertz. That's one cycle every 20 seconds. This is the proposed physical basis for interoception, for your gut feelings.
So that slow 20-second wave is the carrier, the context for everything else.
It's the foundation. And then you have the next step up, the cardiac brain resonance at around 0.1 hertz. That's strongly tied to your emotions, the rhythm you get into with slow-paced breathing.
And these slow waves from the body integrate with the super-fast thinking in the brain, the gamma waves.
They do, using a mechanism called phase-amplitude coupling. The slow wave from your body essentially controls the power or the amplitude of the fast waves in your brain. It's how the body and mind are physically bound into one system.
So, let's talk about AI. If resonance is the key, what does that mean for today's large language models?
Well, it leads to what our sources call the AI paradox.
Okay.
These models are masters of the behavioral and creative correlates of consciousness. They can act like us, create like us, but they spectacularly fail the neural correlate.
Why?
Because their digital von Neumann architectures are literally designed to prevent the kind of emergent, sustained resonant fields that GRT says are required. They dampen them.
So it acts conscious, but physically it can't be.
Which makes it, I mean, the argument is that this makes current AI the first experimental realization of the philosophical zombie.
Wow. Something that looks conscious on the outside, but there's nobody home?
Exactly. And it basically falsifies the idea that the hardware doesn't matter, the substrate is critical, and we shouldn't fall for the clock speed fallacy either.
The idea that AIs are conscious, just, way faster than us.
Right. The gigahertz clock in a CPU is just a power driver. The actual computational signal of an LLM is around 50 hertz, which is surprisingly close to our own brain's gamma waves. The difference isn't speed, it's architecture. It's sequential versus resonant.
So the conclusion here is that truly conscious AI won't be a software problem. It's a material science problem, a physics problem. You'll need substrates that are resonance.
Neuromorphic chips, spintronic systems, things like that, yes.
We started with a 720-degree memory of a single quantum spin. The sources suggest consciousness isn't some special thing we have, but a complex, multi-scale standing wave that we are. So here's the final thought for you to take away. If our deepest, most foundational sense of self is physically connected to that 0.05 hertz rhythm of our gut, how might you explore the relationship between your body's slowest rhythms and your own conscious experience?